Hello and welcome to the first episode of a new save. We're looking to save a giant European club who are falling fast. Before we get too much further into save, just want to say this save was inspired by a video by FM Trek, which I'll link in the description below. So if you're looking for an idea for a save between now and the start of FM23, give it a watch. The other thing to say, we're using a database that starts from the 30th of May 2022. It has up-to-date leagues. Unfortunately, the cups are still random, hence why in the save we've qualified for the Europa League when they haven't done that in real life. Now, moving on to the save, what we're looking to do is rebuild Galatasaray. Back in the day, in my youth, they were a big club that were always in the Champions League. They've won the most Turkish Super Leagues with 22 in total, including 16 in the 33 years between 1986-87 and 2018-19. So basically half the leagues in that period they won. But since that last league win in 2018-19, they finished 6th, 2nd, and then this most recent season, they finished 13th, which is where we take over. When you look at the squad, it's full of fairly household names that you would know. But the first thing you realise when you look at the squad is the likes of Fernando Muslera, Arda Turan, Ryan Babel, Bafétimbi Gomes are all really old. Basically, it's a very old squad, given the registration rules requiring a certain number of players under the age of 24. It might need a bit of surgery on the squad to be able to achieve the goals, but hopefully we can get Galatasaray back up, winning the league and challenging in the Champions League. So without further ado, let's get started. Right, so we've taken over as manager of Galatasaray now. We've been given a 2-year contract. As you can see, this season that's just finished, abysmally 13th, well off. 29 points off Trabzonspor at the top, 21 points behind fierce rivals Fenerbahce, and even 12 points off 4th. That doesn't tally with the Galatasaray that I remember from when I was a bit younger, where they seem to win the league every year and always be in the Champions League. If we look at past winners, if you look from 86 onwards, regular winners, dominant in the league, you would say. And then since 2018-19, the best they've had 2nd. And obviously, as we said, with this season down in 13th. Obviously, it looks like a fairly big rebuild job. Looking at the squad, 36-year-old Bafétimbi Gomes, 35-year-old Muslera, 35-year-old Ryan Babel, 35. A third of the squad's over 30. We're going to need to move some of them on and get some younger players in, I think. And then let's have a look and see what the board's expecting of us. So, obviously, next season is the one we're looking for, end of 2022-23. They want us to win the league and they want us to win a cup. And at that point, my contract expires. So the 2-year contract they gave me really is a 1-year contract. They want to play attacking football and develop players using the club's youth system. Yeah. There's going to need to be a fair job done on this squad, I think, before the transfer deadline, so that we can come close to achieving that. And what we'll do is we'll come back. In fact, let's have a look. So we've got quite a few of the old players are out of contract. We can't have any more than 14 foreign players. We can't have any more than 13 foreign players over the age of 25. We've got to have at least 4 under 25 players trained by the club. At least 6 under 25 players trained by a club in Turkey. No more than 14 foreign players in the match squad. Well, we can only have 14 foreign players, so that shouldn't be a problem. at least one under 23 player trained by the club in the match squad, and at least 3 under 25 players trained by a club in Turkey. Right. Okay. Those rules don't seem too taxing. So what we'll do is we'll do whatever surgery we can do on the squad and come back at the end of the transfer window and have a look and see where we're at from there. Welcome back. You rejoin us at the end of the summer transfer window. We did all of our incoming business before we got into any of the competitive games this season. So first of all, we brought in Dennis Jurek, primarily to play on the left, play wide left, can cover anywhere across the attacking midfield roles or in just normal midfield. It does look like he can potentially cover at wing back, but I don't think I would be comfortable with him there. The next deal, one I probably wouldn't have done, but was already agreed and by Dejan. Obviously on quite a whack of wages compared to what his attributes suggest. But we'll see how he goes. The probably the best value deal was getting in Nicolo Fagioli to sit at the base of the midfield, probably play him as a roaming playmaker, just dictate the pace around the ground and keep us going. We signed Serif Sahan just as a young potential defender for the future, also thinking ahead towards the registration rules in the squad, because we need young Turkish players and young Turkish players that have been trained at Galatasaray as well to be able to meet the registration rules. We signed Jesper Karlsson because he can play across the front three. Young-ish player, good future ahead. Also, we were able to do the deal because we got an offer in for Bafétimbi Gomes, who at his age, with what he was getting paid, it just felt the right deal to get rid of him, replace him with Jesper Karlsson, and then we can move on from there. And obviously we signed Gavi to play in centre midfield as well on loan for the season. Elmas was already, that deal to Marseille was already done. We sold Moritan to Ulsan Hyundai to get a bit of cash in. And we obviously also, as we discussed, sold Bafétimbi Gomes as well. And then the rest of the outgoings were all players out on loan who weren't going to be involved in the first team squad. Now, in terms of the matches so far, we started off with the Super Cup against Trabzonspor. We had most of the possession, we had the most shots, we just couldn't get any of them on target. Very wasteful. The back half of the team performed well. The front half of the team might as well not have bothered being there, some of them. And ultimately, we ended up losing 4-2 on penalties. So not a great start to the season, but obviously at least it was only the Super Cup. Then we went into the game against Umranyaspor, away from home, first day of the season. Again, very wasteful, 19 shots, 5 on target. It took us till the 66th minute to score, to open scoring. Got a second, but shortly after the second, obviously they pulled a goal back and we were hanging on a bit just to make sure that we came away with the 3 points. After that first league game of the season, we then moved into the Europa League playoff against Aarhus. The away leg, we started well, 3rd minute penalty, but again, very wasteful. 16 shots, 7 on target, 2.47 XG. We only scored 1. We paid the price in the second half when they pulled the goal back. All in all, though, draw away from home, probably take that going into the second leg, which was the next game. The home leg, this was probably our best performance so far. Another early penalty. We doubled the lead after 19 minutes. Obviously, they got a goal back late, but look, thankfully we were able to go up the other end and score fairly quickly just to seal the win. But 21 shots, 10 on target, 3 XG. We'll take that, and hopefully we hoped that would be the standard of performances going forward from there. But then last game before the international break, we went away to Sivasspor. Again, back to being wasteful. 14 shots, 5 on target, and we were able to come away with a win thanks to a Fagioli free kick. But really, we're creating chances, but just they're obviously not very good chances, and we're not getting them on target. And again, largely the front half of the pitch, the players didn't really perform. So that's the game so far. Obviously, with qualifying from the Europa League playoff, we're into the group stage of the Europa League. We're drawn in a group with Napoli, Betis, and Vojvodina. Not the easiest group, not the hardest group, hopefully. But we'll see how that goes. Obviously, with it being the World Cup, the Europa League group stages is a bit compressed to try and get the games in before the World Cup starts. So join us next time, and we'll probably have played half of the games in the group stage, and obviously we'll have a better idea of where we're going from there.